schools like these may have different standards and levels of education, accommodation and staff, but they all have one thing in common. Each year they have a large number of school leavers, boys and girls who are anxious to find good jobs with good prospects of promotion, interesting duties, responsibility and security. These are different kinds of hotels, in the city, in the country, at the seaside and so on. And they are all just as anxious to find young people of both sexes from each and every type of school. The hotel industry in Britain demands only that their recruits should be keen, hard-working and ambitious, in which case the way is wide open to a fine and worthwhile career. The problem is how to bring them together, the school leavers and the hotels. This is one way. These young people are about to leave school, and the lecturer is giving them information about career prospects in British hotels and restaurants, about jobs that offer scope for individuality and personality, teach one how to handle responsibility, and give training for promotion. He asks if anyone would care to investigate and see for themselves just what hotels and restaurants have to offer to the bright young school leavers of today. John and Jane are definitely interested. As a result, they're very soon on their way to see a representative local hotel, where the manager is expecting them and will be happy to show them just what hotel work means.
Why, yes, Mr. Gresham, of course I remember you. Yes, that will be perfectly all right. Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. Yes, but of course. And thank you, sir. Goodbye. Good morning. Can I help you?
My name's John Farrer. This is Miss Jane Bowen. I think someone's expecting us.
Ah, yes, of course. Mr. King, the manager, asked me to let him know as soon as you arrived. Oh, hello, Janet. Reception here. Is Mr. King available? Good. Would you tell him the young lady and gentleman he's expecting are here? Thank you. He'll be down right away.
Thank you. I wonder, would you mind telling us how you came to be a receptionist? It seems to be a fascinating job. Does it take an awful lot of training?
Well, I took the 12-month course for bookkeeper receptionist at the local college.
What subjects did you have to cover?
You need shorthand typing, elementary accountancy, and must be able to use a tabulator. And I also learned how to handle a switchboard. But one of the main jobs is to present a cheerful, welcoming countenance to all our guests, and to be as helpful as possible on all occasions. I can promise you it's never dull. Ah, here's Mr. King now.
Thank you, Miss Blake. So you've come to see how a hotel works, eh?
That's right, Mr. King. I'm John Farrer. This is Jane Bowen.
Jane, John, welcome to the hotel. And I hope you'll find it sufficiently interesting for you to consider a career for yourselves within the industry. Because I promise you, if you're keen, interested, and not afraid of hard work, then there are lots of people to advise you and help you to get on. But which department would you like to see first?
The kitchens.
So would I. I'd love to see what goes on behind the scenes in the place where all your gorgeous meals are prepared.
They all say the same thing, whether they want to be chefs or not. The kitchens, it shall be there. And come along, I'll find you somewhere to put your coats.
No, and I'm very sorry, sir, but we really haven't got a room. No. No, I'm sorry, sir, we haven't.
Here we are then, the kitchen, where the head chef reigns supreme. And there he is, Chef Paul. Over a 4 years apprenticeship, and here we believe in apprenticeship, John would be trained in every department of the kitchen. And this work would be supplemented by special college training. Mind you, Chef Paul grew up in the days when college training was the exception rather than the rule. He came up the hard way. He believes that college training is a good thing, but that the kitchen is the place where you learn to be a head chef. This is where college theory becomes commercial practice. Take the butchery side, for example. You must cut up a lot of meat before you become as expert as George here. And a patissier who works in his own department there. Practice makes perfect again, eh? And the sauce. People will come from miles to taste a sauce of perfection. But it must be perfection, or else. Yes, Chef Paul's one of the old school. He believes that you learn nothing outside the kitchen. But in this day and age, there are other things to learn, and college training is essential.
But anyone can begin here and work their way up, whatever school they've been to.
Yes, we recruit from every type of school. But today, with costing playing such a vitally important part of a chef's life, this means that the new recruit must have a good knowledge of maths if he's to make the grade as a top chef. It's his job to provide superb food at prices that aren't prohibitive, and it often takes a lot of careful planning. But let's leave the kitchens now and see what happens to the food when it leaves the kitchens and reaches the dining room. This is where the creations of Chef Paul and his staff are consumed and paid for. Each member of the staff in this dining room has a distinct part to play. From the youngest waitress, like Mary, she came here from secondary modern school. So did Philip. Both of these young people are apprenticed under the scheme supported by the British Hotels and Restaurants Association. While they are working, they're allowed a day a week at college if they want to advance themselves. Like Angela. She's now a station waitress, which means that she's in charge of a group of tables. Every hotel and restaurant in the country is anxious to employ really good, intelligent, pleasant waiters and waitresses, because they are the closest link between the hotel and the customer. No matter how good the food is, if the service is bad, the customer is dissatisfied. And here's another interesting job. This is the wine waiter. He advises and helps the guest in the choice of the appropriate wine. This is a fine claret a customer has chosen to drink with his meal. And as in the case of all red wine, it will have been drawn from the cellar several days beforehand, so that it can be served at the room temperature. This man knows his wines, how to treat them and how to serve them. He will have spent 3 years as a wine waiter, and will most probably have been to France to study vineyards and vintages. This wine waiter carries the much coveted badge, which shows him to be a member of the Guild of Sommelier. This means that he served 3 years as an assistant wine waiter before attaining his present position. From his training and his knowledge of the hotel cellars, he is able to guide his customers in the choice of the wine most suited to their meal. These guests wisely ordered their food and their wine before going into the restaurant, which is a great help and saves time both for themselves and the staff. 2 of the guests have chosen a rather special dish, Steak Diane, cooked by the head waiter himself at the table. A good head waiter develops a technique and diplomacy that is essential to his job. He must suit his approach to match his guests, and so put them at their ease. He must help them choose and gently advise them. After all, it isn't everybody who knows what a Steak Diane is. Did you? A good head waiter is worth his weight in gold. Not only does this show in his salary, but also the world is his oyster. When he is fully trained and experienced, he can get a job anywhere.
I say, these jobs do seem to need a lot of training and experience.
It's worth it though in the end, Jane.
So far as training is concerned, this depends on the individual. Now let me take you to meet someone who's just starting to learn hotelware. This is Jerry, our page boy. Bright, cheerful, only recently out of school but already earning good money, all meals found together with uniform. Like a great many hotel workers before him, who are now head porters, head waiters, wine waiters and chefs, Jerry is starting his career in hotels as a page boy. He must be smart, brisk and alert in carrying out his orders he receives from the head porter, and his job is a splendid jumping-off ground for any job in the industry. And this, of course, is a head porter, a job of considerable importance and responsibility. He can tell the guests where to go and what to see. It's his job to be a complete mine of information. You'll see he's a proud wearer of the Crossed Keys badge, the cleft door, signifying that he is an acknowledged master of his craft. Incidentally, he can speak 6 languages, and that is not unusual amongst head porters, so don't underestimate him. He holds down a big job, and the money is correspondingly big. And this head porter started like Jerry as a page boy.
I say, there's a lot more in these jobs than meets the eye, eh, Jane?
You're right. You certainly live and learn, don't you?
And that just about sums up hotel life, Jane. Living and learning all the time, and enjoying both. But let's have a look at another job that Jerry might graduate to later on. Let's have a chat with the man who runs the cocktail bar. His job is never dull either.
Oh, hello, sir. I'm sorry the bar is closed.
That's all right, William. I want you to meet John and Jane here. They're both interested in the possibilities of a hotel career, and they'd like you to tell them how you come to be doing this job.
Oh, well, that's easy. I started like Joey as a page boy, then junior porter, and after that I was old enough to assist behind the bar. Eventually I took over, when the bartender, who had also had restaurant experience, moved on to a better job. What job was that? In his case, he went on to be a wine waiter. But that's the beauty of working in a hotel, you see. Whatever job you do, you gradually get the feel of the business. And if you've got an urge to get on, you can branch off into whatever section of the industry that you fancy. There's always the opportunity and the encouragement to have a go, isn't there, sir?
That's so. Have you got a question on this, Jane?
Well, yes. I've seen girls working in cocktail bars. Is that a job that's normally open to both sexes?
Good heavens, yes. Is Anne about?
Yes, she's in the storeroom. Anne, can you spare a minute?
Meet John and Jane, Anne, 2 possible recruits to the hotel industry. Jane was asking about lady bartenders. Oh, Anne is William's assistant in this bar. When he's promoted to other duties, then she'll take over here. That's if she doesn't get married in the meantime. Hey, Anne.
I'll give you plenty of warning, sir.
Do you like working in a cocktail bar?
I enjoy it thoroughly. It's lovely meeting new people all the time. And when they come in the bar, they're usually bright and cheerful. And it's great fun, isn't it, William?
Not only fun, but good money as well.
So William and Anne work in the cocktail bar. But what other jobs are there for the female staff apart from the ones we've already seen, Mr. King?
I'll show you. Let's go now and see the other side of hotel management. You've seen how our guests are fed. Now I'll show you how they're accommodated. Thank you, Anne. And you too, William. We'll leave you to get on with your work, and we'll go and take a look at the guest rooms. No, please don't stop. Just carry on as though we weren't here. These 2 young ladies are room maids. It's their job to keep their rooms in apple pie order. Eventually they hope to be assistant housekeepers or housekeepers, jobs for which there's a very great demand.
You can work your way from room maid to housekeeper then, Mr. King?
Yes, with training, Jane. And they're just introducing a training scheme for housekeepers in hotels. It's a big job, and compares in importance with that of head waiter or head porter. Her responsibilities cover all room service, linen rooms, stores, and even the catering and reception come under the heading of general housekeeping. And she's responsible for the good condition of all the rooms under her care, the comfort and satisfaction of the guests in those rooms, and the supervision of the staff who deal with them.
Any particular qualifications required?
We want the better educated girl, with a flair for decor, keenness, and enthusiasm. You start when you're 18, not before, because you can't be a room maid before then. And now, John, you look as though you've got a question to ask. Not about being a housekeeper, surely.
No. As a matter of fact, I wanted to ask you what your job entails, Mr. King.
Ah, now that's another story. I suggest we go to my office now and finish off our discussion there. Now, you asked me about my job as manager.
You are mostly concerned with the guests, I suppose.
That's when you'd be most likely to see me around. But my job's rather like an iceberg. 1/8 of it can be seen on the surface, and the other 7/8 are submerged behind the scenes, where my most important duties lie. Discussing menus with the chef, arranging and organizing special functions, dinners, banquets, and so on. Also, I'm responsible to the hotel company for the financial stability of the hotel. So I have to be something of a costing expert, too.
What about the control of staff personnel? Is that your concern too?
If there are any problems that can't be settled by their immediate superiors, then they're sent to me. I know all my staff personally, naturally, and they're all part of the smooth running efficiency of the hotel. So it's up to me to make sure that it is smooth running, and woe betide me if it isn't.
Does that mean you have to know how to do everybody's job?
Let's say I have a very good idea how I want every job done, and my staff supports me in achieving the standards I demand.
That must tie you down 7 days a week, surely.
Oh, no, I get my recreation all right. In fact, I'm due to meet my opponent on the golf course in an hour's time. But first of all, let's clear up all those questions of yours, shall we?
What about the other members of the staff and their recreations?
Oh, they all get their time off, believe me. And there's no shortage of spare time activities either. Let me see. William the barman and Miss Blake, our receptionist, they're keen swimmers. Joe the page boy is a great 10-pin bowling expert. The hotel runs its own soccer team too and plays other hotel teams in the locality. And I get my share of exercise on the golf course. So you see, we all have a pretty full life, working or playing.
What about the older members of the staff?
Well, you'd hardly expect the head chef or the head porter to play soccer. But they're both keen motorists, and they get out and about in the country with their wives when they're off duty.
They run their own cars then?
Why, yes, most of us do.
Which brings us to the big question. What about the wages?
Ah, wages. Now, they depend on what job you're after and what training you're prepared to undertake. You see, there's a definite basic minimum wage for every job in the hotel. But it is only a minimum. Nobody stays on it for long, and if they do, then they're no use to us.
So there's no hard and fast rule at all about remuneration?
Only on the agreed basic minimum. But that's just a jumping off ground. But your best bet is to approach your youth employment officer if you still want to go ahead with a career in our industry. Get him to tell you about the local situation. Then he'll send you off to a job with a certain hotel, and then you can start talking real down-to-earth wage talk with the proprietor or manager. And now, if you'll excuse me...
Oh, yes. Yes, Mr. King. We mustn't keep you any longer. You've been very helpful indeed, and we do appreciate it.
I'm going back home right now to talk to my parents about it. And then tomorrow I shall be off to see the youth employment officer.
And I shall be right alongside you.
In that case, I wish you both the very best of luck. You never know, we may be working together one day. I certainly hope so, anyway.
So, John and Jane have plenty to think and to talk about. For example, while they're being trained as members of hotel or restaurant staffs, the world can be their oyster. Hotels in every country demand expert staff. Menus are generally printed in French. The language is international so far as hotels and restaurants are concerned. And in all of them, throughout the well-trained boy and girl are accepted and welcomed. So, you school leavers, whatever school you're leaving, think about a career where all the jobs are leading somewhere, not to a dead end. An industry where skill is recognized, appreciated, and financially rewarded. Today, the British Hotels and Restaurants Association offers you a career with interest, responsibility, and a future. A career that can be favorably compared with any other industry in the country. Join us now. The sooner the better. You'll never regret it.